Hey guys, I'm Garrett with Final Greetings, the drummer in the band, and we have a new member. This is Alissa Larsen. Yes, my wife.
Yay!
She has just joined us and is ready to rock and roll. We all are, and so we're just really happy to have her. So we're just going to kind of go through and see her story, how she became part of the band. So, what do you do in the band?
Okay, so I came on partially as a vocalist, so I'm here to sing, but I'm also here to play keys when we do worship music, and I help a lot with booking, and I do some social media for the band, and so I just kind of do whatever is needed and volunteer in whatever way I can.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. So I know my story really has to do a lot with yours because we're married. So that makes sense. But the viewers saw in my story how I came to be with the band and how God called me to join the band in the mission. That had to do a little bit with you because I obviously involved you in my story. But maybe you can give it from your perspective, just how, we were riding in the car and I told you, God told me to join Final Greetings.
Yeah.
What did that look like for you?
So we had just finished summer camp, we were hanging out, and for some reason I was really tired after camp. I just wanted to go home, go to sleep, and all the youth leaders from our church were like, no, you're going out to dinner with everyone at Chick-fil-A and the band's coming too. And I'm like, okay, fine. I guess it'll only be like an hour, how long does it take to eat Chick-fil-A? Apparently it takes 3 hours. And you spilling your whole backstory to Sam, and I'm just like sitting here, yeah. Why is he telling everything about himself to Sam? And then after we finish dinner, the youth leaders are about to head home, and the guys are like, hey, we need a handheld coffee grinder. Do you guys know where we can get one? And so Garrett's like, oh, let's go on this escapade to find a handheld coffee grinder. And so I'm going along, but I'm like, I'm so tired. And we're in the car, and I'm like, Garrett, why do you want to spend so much time with these people?
They're cool guys.
You just look at me, you're like, they're only in town for one more day. I just want to spend time with them. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And I was getting a little suspicious, but I'm like, you know what? It's okay. They're in for one night, and we'll still get time to just relax at your house. And so went with them to at home and Target, just ran around. Finally, the guys say, okay, no, we're too tired. We're going home. I'm like, sweet. So they leave and we leave, and we're just driving back to your house, and you reach forward and you turn down the radio and look at me and you say, so I have something to tell you. And I'm like, oh no. And you're like, don't worry. We're not breaking up. It's the opposite of that. Actually, it's not really. I don't know what to say. And I just start freaking out inside, and I'm like, So I reach forward and just completely turn off the radio and just kind of sit awkwardly and quietly waiting. And then you say in just kind of this calm but unsure voice, I think I'm supposed to join Final Greetings. And I remember that moment and just feeling so torn. I started crying because I was like, this is not what we were thinking. This was not our plan. But at the same time, I was thinking back to summer camp of how we'd been hanging out with the guys. And some of you may not know, some of you may. I actually was on a touring team with my college when I was in college. And so I had done what the guys do now before. And being with the guys at summer camp really made me think about that. It made me remember that, and it almost made me miss it. And I had random thoughts. There was actually one that the two of us had where it was like, maybe, what would it look like if Garrett and I went touring with the band? And I immediately shut it down. And then, as you said, we were supposed to join Final Greetings. Those thoughts popped up, and I remember at a time I had told you earlier on that wherever you go, I will go because I'm here for you. And in that moment, I just found this resolve, and I just quietly said, I think I'm supposed to join too.
That's so cool. I'll tell you, for me, in that moment, it was like a breath of fresh air because I literally was terrified to tell her that I was leaving. It almost felt like I had joined the military and, leaving for a whole year on tour, I was just scared to see what she wanted. Shortly after that, I decided to join up with the band early and was on tour, the rest of the tour with them for about a month and a half. And on our way back to Utah to meet up with you, to go out to Colorado, our van broke down in Reno. And it destroyed you because you knew that it would be longer before you'd get to see me, and it was also your birthday, and I was really trying hard to get back to see her for her birthday. So what did you do in that moment? I'll leave the storytelling to you.
Well, I was at work when Garrett texted me and said, so the engine's gone, like it's dead. And I just remember feeling so upset and so nervous, and yet I had this weird assurance, like this thought in the back of my brain that God had basically told me, he's like, you're gonna see him tomorrow. And I was like, that may be the case, but I'm still gonna get upset and cry. And so I just remember a whole 24 hours just not doing well, because we didn't know when you guys were coming back into the Utah area, and it was really hard, because it was like it could be a day, it could be a week, and we didn't know. And I just was worried about it, but I kept offering. I'm like, hey, if you guys need, I can drive down and pick you guys up. And he was like, no, don't come pick us up. Just stay there. And I was like, okay. And so I did. And then 24 hours later, they're like, okay, yeah, the engine's kaput. And so you were talking to me and you're like, okay, it sounds like what we're going to try and do is rent a car, and James, Steven, and I will come to Utah. I was like, okay, sweet, I'll get to see you in like 7 hours. I was so excited. And then I went on lunch break, and I was just about ready to sit down and relax for my hour, and then I just see my phone light up. And I see you're calling me, and I'm like, oh, hopefully this is not a bad thing. And so I pick up the phone, and I'm like, hello? And you say, do you love me? And I'm like, yes. You say, James is here too. Do you love James? I'm like, yes, I love you both very much. Why? So we can't get the rental car. Can you come pick us up in Reno? And so I remember being like, let me call Joe and then I'll get back to you. So Joe is my boss, and so I called him up really quick. I'm like, hey, I have 3 hours of vacation time left. The guys are stuck in Reno. They're wondering if I can go pick them up. And he's like, yeah, just go. And I'm like, sweet. So I'm like, I call you back, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my oil changed and then I'll head your way. And so I get the oil changed. I start off on Reno, and I had only told like 3 or 4 people. And so randomly, the whole 8-hour drive, I kept having people calling me being like, hey, I heard Garrett's not in town. How are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing fine. I'm going to see him in about 6 hours. I'm actually driving to pick him up in Reno. And they're like, you're what? And so spent the whole time just singing, talking to people, telling them that I was going to pick you up, and just getting excited. And I was so ready to pick you up, and then I got there and I got all nervous, like sitting in the car, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to see Garrett again. It's been like over a month. What is this going to be like? And so, but it was just a really sweet moment of you coming outside and you running and us hugging each other and just enjoying that before we took another 8 hours to get back to Utah. Still not sleeping. Dropped them off at their house and then went back to my house and got an hour and a half of sleep before I got back to work the next morning. So that was fun, but totally worth it.
Yeah, exactly. It was an exhausting time for me. I can't imagine for you. That was what, 18 hours or around there?
Yep.
Yeah, but I think it was really cool, like, first moment with the bands. Kind of like, not every moment on tour is going to be all, like, shows and, being able to, like, have fun and stress-free. It's really a lot of work and a lot of perseverance, and you showed that by dedicating yourself to making that drive and getting us. So that's really cool. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, totally do that. And you see that little bell that's in the corner? Ding, get that on too, because you want to be notified every 2 weeks when we throw up a new video. So just do that, and you can keep in touch with us via all our social medias. Love you.